yardstick just changed around here, buddy. You're looking at it.
We're here tonight to set the record straight.
Boo. Okay, we just stopped booing. It has been over 24 hours now, and we have just now stopped booing from the Chiefs-Bills game yesterday, just to bring you this Outsiders podcast. Welcome, Clint Schweitzer, Noah Groninger. We're bringing it today because the Kansas City Chiefs trotted into Buffalo and trotted out with a 35-17 loss. The Chiefs are 0-2, 6 out of 7 seasons. We have started 0-2. The season's over.
Oh, definitely. The season is by far gone. Your team is identifiable with your head coach, and I guess we just have a bunch of nice guys out there because that's kind of what Romeo is. No fire, no passion. Look like guys are just trotting around. They don't even really care. They're not playing hard at all.
No, you saw a defense and just a team in general that went out there and did not execute in any facet of the game, that had no absolute fire, passion, like you said. Offense did not execute. Defense was just lost. This is with Tamba Hali back, Brandon Flowers back. Hali did not even have a single tackle. This was against the Buffalo Bills, guys, a team that has only a couple wins in the past year.
Are you telling me Tamba Hali can't beat rookie from Georgia, Cordy Glenn, off the edge? What is going on, Tamba?
Like I said, I mean, our defense does not have the swagger of a team like the Ravens. The Chiefs were close to it, right at a top 10 defense a year ago, but they don't play with the fire. They don't have, Derek Johnson. These are all quiet guys. Eric Berry. Quiet leaders in the locker room, yes, but on the field, you don't feel like they're going to go out and dominate.
Oh, definitely not. I mean, where is the leader on this team? Do we have one?
Nobody. At any position. You saw Matt Castle trick his way to 300-plus yards and again, stats that mean nothing. Garbage time stats. And the thing of it is, fans, you cannot keep defending this. You cannot, because if you do, they're going to think it's okay to keep putting Matt Castle at under center for football games.
Apparently people are okay with it. I mean, as long as he goes out there and puts up some touchdowns against prevent defense, a team not trying to get injured. I mean, they're just playing safe and
the
just
Buffalo
letting us
Bills,
score.
Noah, they sat in a cloud zone for 2 quarters of football that allowed the Chiefs to get any sort of momentum. 2 touchdowns, garbage time. It was 35-3 when the game actually mattered. So I don't want to hear from any fans that the Chiefs made any sort of rallying cry. In fact, it's embarrassing that we were in the 4th quarter with Matt Castle still playing, calling timeouts, trying to set up scoring drives when the game was done. It makes you look sorry and sad, just like the Chiefs were yesterday. It makes sense.
Oh, definitely. I just let them get killed 63-3 or whatever. Just quit calling timeouts, quit trying your best to score, and just give up. Just show this team that they are horrible. Show them that it is over.
It's done. I'll tell you what. This podcast today is the funeral for the 2012 Kansas City Chiefs season. It is done. No chance. They go to the New Orleans Saints next week, and they'll be home for the Chargers and the Ravens. That is 3 teams that the Chiefs have no chance of beating. None. 0.
Oh, definitely not. I mean, I don't see any way they can win, especially with this head coach. I mean, he's just not a head coach. You saw it in Cleveland, and you're seeing it here now. He doesn't have what it takes. He's not a motivator. I mean, he might be a good teacher, but he's got too much on his plate. You see the defense suffering for it, and they all need to go. Brian Daboll cannot call an offense. We saw that in Cleveland. We saw it in Miami. We're seeing it here. Hello, track record. Listen to it. Don't hire bums.
I think that's been when it's all said and done, that's going to be the story of this whole Pioli regime, is hiring bums. I mean,
hiring friends.
Hiring friends. And I think that's what the trap that the Carl Peterson regime got caught in whenever they started hiring Vermeil and Herm Edwards and wouldn't give Al Saunders a chance. And I don't know. To me, this is unacceptable. 6 out of 7 seasons starting 0-2, digging yourself in a hole. This has not even been competitive remotely. This regime, I think Scott Pioli's in trouble here, by the way. I think if this team, but the problem is I think this team will scrape together 5 or 6 wins, rally towards when the games are meaningless, and it's going to cripple this franchise because once again we'll avoid a top-level quarterback in the draft. I mean, that's just kind of what we want, isn't it?
Yeah, and maybe we'll go out and get a Matt Moore, another journeyman, Steve Bono, Elvis Gerbach, Matt Castle type. And it's just awful. I mean, we need a coach like Marty Schottenheimer who was interested in this job last season. All right?
Unbelievable.
During the offseason, he was interested in this job. We turned him down for Romeo Crennel. Jeff Fisher won't return our calls. I mean, Bill Cowher, John Gruden seem happy in their TV jobs. And we need a coach like Marty. We need to get rid of just hiring friends like Peyton Hillis, Brady Quinn. They were from the Browns with Romeo and Dayball. I mean, just quit hiring.
Castle was a friend.
Yes, Castle's a friend of Pioli. We drafted Ricky Stanzi because Kirk Ferentz, the coach of Iowa, is great friends with Scott Pioli. And he's like, hey, why don't you go get Stanzi? He's an Iowa guy. Okay, well, sure.
I love your points there. I think that is true. Look, the Kansas City Chiefs have been an abysmal organization. Really, Dick Vermeil had some good seasons in the early to mid 2000s. I can't discount those.
He only had the worst defense, disregarded the defensive side of the ball. Those players should not have even been allowed to play in the Arena League.
I agree with you. I know what you're saying there, but this is, the only competitive football that we've seen has been Trent Green, Priest Holmes, Dante Hall, Eddie Kennison, that offense, the Al Saunders-led offense in the early 2000s.
But they fooled us again. Why can't we have a high-powered offense and a decent defense, or a good defense? Why do we have to have a great offense and the worst defense to ever play football in the history of the National Football League?
Well, that's what I'm saying. This goes back years. This is since the Chiefs were one of the best organizations of the 1960s since they moved to Kansas City in 1962.
Bob Fesco asked the other day, what is cursing this team? And I said, and I got a bunch of likes on this on his page for my comment saying, getting rid of Marty Schottenheimer. That seems to be our curse.
I think you're right. I mean, Marty Schottenheimer from 1989 until 1998, his time here, 6 straight playoff appearances. I mean, 7. I can't. It's unfathomable. Now he lost it towards the end, and maybe it was time to move on.
No, it was not time to move on.
I mean,
Marty's a great coach.
I agree.
Don't move on to Gunther or these stupid coordinators or your friends.
I agree.
I mean, it's awful. Marty would have got it back on track. He doesn't know losing. He only knows winning.
Marty does only know winning. He should have, if he had any interest whatsoever, if there's any truth to that, he should have been absolutely considered. I'm speaking to the point of, after 9 seasons, with management, it's just hard to stay at any job these days. 9 years. It's hard to make it work. So I think that's maybe the only argument that you could make that the Marty era was...
Jeff Fisher and Bill Cowher stayed around for freaking 20 years.
Those are anomalies. I mean, those do not happen. In the NFL, this is a 3-year league these days. I mean, you're in a job 3 years and out. I'm not agreeing with it. I'm not saying that's how it should be.
That's because they hire people like Romeo Crennel.
I agree.
It's hard to find great head coaches. We had one of Marty Schottenheimer. We let him go. Oops, now we're screwed for the rest of eternity.
Well, yeah.
Great head coaches don't get fired. You can't find them on trees. They're great head coaches. They're going to stay at their job for a reason.
Well, I'll tell you what. I was okay with Romeo getting hired only for one reason. Because the losers that got head coaching jobs this offseason, I felt like the Chiefs couldn't have done any worse. Dennis Allen, Josh Philbin.
Well,
who are these losers? I mean,
we could be just like them. We could have hired another loser, but I mean, Romeo was not the answer. I mean, obviously, Philbin's not the answer. Dennis Allen's not an answer. And if Jeff Fisher's not returning your phone calls, you're doing something wrong as an organization, as a team, and you need to take a look at that, not just go, oh, well, he's not returning our phone calls. We'll hire Romeo. We'll just disregard that great players like Peyton Manning and Jeff Fisher want nothing to do with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, I think that sums it up right there. The cream of the crop, Peyton Mannings, the Jeff Fishers, the head coaching candidates that could help this organization don't want to have anything to do with this. So maybe we're stuck in a vicious cycle of Romeos and Herm Edwards and people like that.
I've got an idea. How about Herm Edwards as general manager, because he got the players that are pretty much on this team in the Brandon Flowers. I mean,
Charles, Albert,
and then Marty Schottenheimer's head coach, Al Saunders offensive coordinator, and how about bring back old Gunther as defensive coordinator?
That'd be great, man. I'll tell you what. I want to hear what you guys think, because we got off kind of on a tangent today talking about the coaching situation, but more importantly here, this was an abysmal effort at Buffalo. You've already heard it. You've heard it analyzed for the past day and a half. So we're moving on now to a game at New Orleans that we can't win. Exactly. We'll talk about that next week. But I'll tell you what, we want to hear from you guys. Is the Chiefs season over? Do you disagree with us? Get on the Facebook page, The Outsiders. Keep hitting us up on The Outsiders podcast. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you guys later.